This week we've been reading our 5th Magic Tree House book, Night of the Ninjas by Mary Pope Osborne. Let's review our book map to see what we've learned so far. The title of our book is Night of the Ninjas. Who, or our characters? Jack, Annie, the mouse, and the ninjas. Where, or our setting? We started out in the woods. We were in old Japan, on a mountain, and in a cave. When, or the time? Old Japan. And we'll summarize our plot when we're done with the book. Let's review the parts of the book. Front cover, back cover, spine, and title. Front cover, back cover, spine, and title. Front cover, back cover, spine, and title. These are the parts of a book. Let's review what's happened so far on the Night of the Ninjas. Jack and Annie went to the woods and checked to see if the treehouse was back, and they were so happy to see that it was back. They went inside and found a note from Morgan, and the note said that she needed help and they had to find 4 things. There was one open book in the treehouse, and that book had a picture of a mountain with flowers on the trees and ninjas. So Jack and Annie wished to go there. They ran into 2 ninjas who took them with them to meet the ninja master inside a cave. Well, they found out that the samurai were coming, and the samurai did not like the ninjas. So Jack and Annie had to leave the ninjas and find their own way back to the treehouse. So they used the ways of the ninja, and they're trying to get back to their treehouse. Let's find out what happens next. Chapter 9, Mouse Walk. The mouse vanished into the tall grass on the other side of the stream. Jack and Annie stared at the tree branch. "We have to try to cross it," said Annie. "We're supposed to follow nature." "Forget it," said Jack. "It's too little. It'll crack." "Maybe if we pretend we're mice, we can do it," said Annie. "Oh, brother," said Jack, "not again." "If you could be a rock, you can be a mouse," said Annie. "Just be tiny and light and fast." Jack took a deep breath. "We have to," said Annie. "Okay," said Jack. "Say squeak," said Annie. "You're nuts," said Jack. "Just do it," said Annie. "It'll help you feel more like a mouse." Jack groaned. "Okay," he said. "Squeak." "Squeak," said Annie. "Squeak, squeak, squeak," they said together. "Let's go. Hurry," said Annie. Jack stepped onto the branch. "I'm teeny, I'm light, I'm fast," he thought. Then he darted across the branch. Jack moved so quickly he didn't think about anything except getting to the other side. He forgot the wild freezing water. He forgot about the smallness of the branch. Suddenly, Jack was on the other side. Suddenly, Annie was right beside him. They laughed and fell together into the grass. See, the branch didn't break," said Annie. "I guess it was big enough," said Jack. "I guess we just had to think the right way." "The peanut way," said Annie. "Yeah," said Jack, smiling. He felt great. He was still wet from his fall into the stream, but he didn't mind anymore. Jack pushed his glasses into place and stood up. "Okay, now we just have to find the treehouse," he said. "No, we don't," said Annie. She pointed up. The treehouse was outlined against the moonlit sky, high in a tree, surrounded by white flowers. In the distance came the sound of voices. Then Jack saw flames. "The samurai are coming back," said Jack. "We have to go." "Where's Peanut?" said Annie. "We can't leave Peanut." "We have to," said Jack. The voices of the samurai were getting closer. So were their torches. "Come on," Jack said. He grabbed Annie's hand. He pulled her toward the rope ladder. "Oh, Jack," she said sadly. "Go, go." Annie started up the rope ladder. Jack followed. He felt sad too. He liked that little mouse now. He liked it a lot. They climbed up, up, up. Just before they got to the top, Jack heard it. Squeak! Oh, wow, cried Annie. Peanuts inside. Annie pulled herself into the treehouse. Jack followed. He gasped. Someone else was in the treehouse, too. A dark figure was sitting in the corner. You have done well, the figure said. It was the Ninja Master. You have followed the way of the ninja, he said. Oh, man, breathed Jack. Squeak! The master was holding Peanut. Take care of your little helper, he said, handing the mouse to Annie. Annie kissed the mouse's tiny head. And take this, said the master. He held out his hand to Jack. He gave Jack a small, round stone. This moonstone will help you find your missing friend, the master said. Jack stared at the stone. Was this one of the 4 things? You must go home now, said the master. He picked up the Pennsylvania book and handed it to Annie. Where did you find it? Asked Jack. Here, said the master. You did not see it before because your heart knew you had a mission to complete first. What about you? Said Annie. Can you come with us? Yes, said Jack. We might need help finding Morgan. The master smiled. No, my friends. I must stay here. There will be more help along the way, but you must find your way on your own. Annie opened the book. She found the picture of Frog Creek. She pointed to it. I wish we could go there, she said. The wind started to blow. The white flowers started to shake. Clouds covered the moon. Remember, the master said, keep a kind heart. Then he swung silently down the rope ladder. He disappeared into the dark night. Wait, Jack called. There was so much he wanted to ask the Ninja Master about nature, about ninjas, about their mission. But the treehouse started to spin. It spun faster and faster. Jack gripped the stone in his hand. He squeezed his eyes shut. Then everything was still, absolutely still. Chapter 10. Night, Peanut. Jack opened his eyes. Then he opened his fist. He stared at the moonstone in his hand. It was clear and smooth. It almost seemed to glow. We're home, said Annie. Squeak! Annie and the mouse were looking out the window. Jack looked with them. The sun was setting in the distance. No time had passed in Frog Creek. They heard their neighbor's dog Henry bark. They heard crickets chirping. In the distance, they could hear their dad step out of their house. He stood on their porch. Jack, Annie, he called. Time for dinner. Coming, Annie shouted. Jack sat on his heels. He looked at the moonstone again. I guess we have one of the 4 things, he said. We'll look for the other 3 tomorrow, said Annie. Jack nodded. They had a lot more work to do. He put the moonstone in his pocket. He pulled on his pack. Ready? He said. Wait, said Annie. She took off one of her sneakers. She pulled off her sock. Then she put her sneaker back on. What are you doing? Said Jack. I'm making a bed, she said. A bed? For what? A bed, you know, for Peanut to sleep in. Annie picked up the mouse. She tucked it inside her sock. Night, Peanut, she said softly. Squeak. Oh, brother, said Jack. Annie held the little mouse close to Jack. Kiss it goodnight, Jack, she said. Don't be silly, let's go. Thanks for helping us, Annie said to the little mouse. She put Peanut gently down on the glowing M. She pulled Morgan's message out of her pouch and put it next to the mouse. See you tomorrow, she said, and then she started down the ladder. Jack stared at the mouse. It looked back at him. For a moment, its dark eyes looked old and wise. Come on, Jack, called Annie. Jack kissed its tiny head. Night-night, Peanut, he whispered. Then Jack headed down the rope ladder. It got darker and darker as he went down. By the time he stepped on the ground, it was almost completely black. Where are you? Said Jack. Here, said Annie. Her hand bumped his. He took it. Careful, he said. Careful yourself, she said. Together they took off through the cool, dark woods. They moved silently and swiftly, two shadow warriors returning home. The end. I like that book. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Let's finish our book map. So when Old Japan, and then what happened? Let's see, Jack and Annie went to Old Japan. They saw the ninjas. Then the ninjas took them to a cave where they met the ninja master. Then Jack and Annie had to use the way of the ninja to get back to the treehouse. So they used way of ninja. Once they got back to the treehouse, the ninja master gave them the stone that they needed to help find Morgan. Ninja master gave stone. And then they were able to return home. Let's review our book map. The title of our book was Night of the Ninjas. Who, or the characters, Jack, Annie, the mouse, and the ninjas. Where, or the setting, the woods, Old Japan, the mountain, and the cave. When, Old Japan. And what happened? They saw ninjas, met the ninja master, used the way of the ninja to get back to the treehouse, and the ninja master gave them the stone, which is one of the 4 things they needed to help Morgan. I hope you guys enjoyed Night of the Ninjas. I sure did. I'll see you next time. Bye, friends.